Would you please join me in the pledge? I
Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the study session. Let it show the record that we have 7 for 7 board members here. I'd like to open up first with public comments. Are there any public comments this morning? Okay, hearing none. Samantha, did you have anything you would like to say in regards to the ambulance service?
I do a little bit. I alluded to it in the regular board meeting, but I didn't tell you who it was because I hadn't told my staff yet. But Adam Webb has been named the EMS manager. It has been announced organizationally. So he planned on being here this morning, but he is already out in Elbridge on a call this morning. So if you have any concerns, he will be your delegate to this board, but he reports directly to me as well. So I probably will not be coming to many board meetings unless you guys need something from me. You all still have my contact information, so please, if you want me here for a specific reason or questions, to let me know, and I'll gladly come, but my time is better spent doing some other work. So.
Oh, thanks.
Okay.
You worked that out pretty good, didn't you? All right. Good thinking. I shouldn't say that, I'm sorry. Well, she's
trying to tell you she's busy.
I'm very busy. I get paid to do other things.
You guys have any questions?
Yeah, what's one of the vaccines that you usually get? The Pfizer or the other?
I think mostly we've received Moderna.
That's all they've received.
Okay.
Moderna.
That's the one that doesn't have to be refrigerated or kept as low
Is that the one you
temperature.
use in California?
It's only good for 6 hours
Or
once
one
you
for
buy
half.
it.
I'm using it in California.
Yeah, my granddaughter and I had a big argument about which one to use.
How was everything last week with the vaccinations there at the hospital, the turnout, and did it work pretty good?
Yeah, I think for the most part, in short of not having enough, I mean, everybody's wanting, not everybody, but the demand for people wanting it is very large.
Mm-hmm.
We just have not received, the health department has not received as many doses as what I think the demand is yet.
You don't know roughly how many vaccines?
I don't. Gary, do you remember? You guys reported on it. I don't remember.
The last time I talked to the health department, they had a list of at least 1,400 people.
Right.
And I
How
think
many
there
did
was
300 a week.
No, I think maybe last week there was like
Not all of them.
145
That's
that
it.
they were able. That's the amount of
145
doses that we received.
Right.
145 last week.
So
They're supposed to
guys are
get
still waiting.
500 in supposedly this week, right?
Supposedly 500 coming this week. Now, those of us healthcare workers that got our first dose in December will be first up to get our second dose this week, should we get that 500. But that was only about 250 healthcare workers, and so then it will switch over to the list on who's waiting.
I personally have known, I think, 7 or 8 people from
Christmas.
Chrisman that have gotten their shots. Most of them are in their 80s or
So you're
high
going
70s.
chronologically mostly except for the
Age.
Age.
We don't have any control
That's what
over any of
chronological
that.
means,
The
don't
only
we?
thing that we do is provide the staff for the administration of it. All of the registration for the vaccine and who gets it comes through the health department.
What happens if they call you and you're busy? Do you go to the bottom of the list again, or?
I don't have a clue, to be honest with
Yeah, I
you.
don't know. I should ask how that works.
You should.
Yeah, you're the health department rep. Why are
I
you?
should have.
Why didn't you ask? Oh, you ought to know.
Hey, 7 o'clock in the morning for a meeting, I'm half asleep.
See now.
He's still brushing his teeth.
I didn't know, I'd take them out in person.
I do know
Ain't that
that
pitiful?
our COVID numbers are slowing down. There was only 14 positive cases over the weekend, which is a lot less than what we have been seeing. So I had reported to you guys earlier that we were doing home visits on those COVID patients for ambulance. That number has rolled back as well. So we are now transitioning that program into some other chronic diseases, starting first with congestive heart failure. So we have 5 patients enrolled in our congestive heart failure program that we will be visiting every other day, and that program will start growing as we can meet the demand.
So we're in tier one, is that right now, or do you know? According to
Health
Champagne
department
paper,
question.
We're in phase 4.
phase 4, which means we have inside dining and,
Just like we have been.
yeah,
We went from
Oh,
tier
wow.
3 to phase 4,
okay.
okay?
Well,
Rather
Adam have all
rapidly.
this information that you've got, that we can ask him
For
questions.
the most part, yeah,
Yeah.
he sits in all of the same leadership meetings that I
Okay.
do. I don't hide anything from him.
Mhm.
Some of you
Who
also
does
know
that?
that Jesse Lusader has transitioned to the hospital as well. He is the safety director and emergency preparedness director, and he also works underneath me. So both of them go to all of the same meetings that I go to, except I will be removing myself from a lot of the community meetings, and they will be going as the delegates to those as well, because I will be working on some new business plans for the hospital.
I like your shoes,
Thank you.
looking
All
good.
right. If you guys don't have any other questions for me, I'm not gonna stay for the meeting.
Thank you, Samantha.
Thanks.
Need a blind.
Be safe out there.
Ah.
Those are nice.
They are.
We need
Well-
to carry those up.
Hang on, we'll go to the reports.
I just want, I got, I don't know if any of the rest of you got any calls from people about the shots and things?
A few.
No? I've gotten a few.
Yeah,
I
too.
think it was a little confusing in the paper, sorry Gary, but I looked at what was in the paper, or I was sent what was in the paper, and then I got on the Illinois Department of Public Health's website, and they expanded on that a little more, and then I understood, I mean, in the paper it just said, food service, or not food service, but food handlers and agriculture. Food and agriculture, it said. So someone called me and said, well, I'm in agriculture, I should, well, if you read the expanded, what the Illinois Department of Public Health, it's people involved in like animals. It expanded on it more and was clearer than what I don't know whether you were sent that.
I didn't have enough space to get everything in,
Okay.
I made a reference in there for more information, go to the website.
Okay.
And people don't do that.
Right, they don't, they call me. But and I understood once I read it, a little more, but everybody's just gotta understand there's X amount of shots out there, you're gonna get them when you can.
From what she said, it sounded like there's a whole lot.
Whole lot of
So
demand.
far,
Yeah,
there's a lot of demand, just we're not getting the supply in.
Yeah,
300.
what'd you say, 1,400 or
1,400.
That was on the waiting list as of Thursday, and they were still getting calls.
Okay.
Wonder where I am on that list.
My mom, she's 89 or 90, well, she's over 90, and she got her shot last
Yeah.
week.
She get along all right?
Cause some of them I've talked to have gotten it, said they didn't feel too good for a few days afterwards, so. Anyway, I just wanted to, point out that if people got questions, go to the Illinois Department of Public Health website and look at it and, anyway. I got, of course, Russ maybe knows too about this. We had talked at the last meeting that, the company that was wanting to come look at the clocks. I got a call from Ray on the weekend. He goes, hey, I got up and looked at that. He goes, I don't think you need to call anybody in. He goes, I looked, and there were some set screws, and what was it you did?
There's some collars that are broken, I still got welding.
Okay, and he said that a couple of the collars were broke. He goes, I called him and said, no, don't come. He goes, I think I can fix it. So he's up there working on it, and,
Yeah, two of them are still timed, and you can tell how to time.
how to time
The
them
other
off
two.
the other two. So keep your fingers crossed. And then he called that guy and said, well, I don't think we need you. And the guy goes, well, I'm coming through anyway. He goes, I won't charge you, I'll just come through and look at it.
Oh, that's
So-
no big deal in that.
Right.
That's this guy from Indianapolis?
He's from Ohio,
Ohio.
somewhere in Ohio.
We're not out of the way.
Well, you think about
Must
how
be
many
going-
bells and clocks there are all over the
I
country.
suppose.
He's building somewhere, and how many companies that do that work, but anyway.
Well, at least he'll be familiar with it,
Right,
me-
okay,
Right.
if something happens, and I know there needs to be, there's counterweights on those hands, and Bob found a couple of them out in the yard when he was there, so they still need some work done to it. But if you'll come and look at it, tell us what it costs.
Work on the outside or inside?
That's on the outside.
I'm not gonna do
You're not gonna do it?
No.
We'll get you a rope, you can
it.
hang
I saw
from
a guy in Terre Haute painting the dome on the courthouse, could call him.
hanging from a rope.
Yeah, hanging on the outside, painting the dome. Yeah.
I know the Dorset boy said he'd do it. He said he's one of those that hangs from the helicopter when they,
Yeah,
he said, oh, well, yeah, I'll come do it. You gotta tell me what to do when I'm up there. So, but anyway, we'll have them, they'll come through and look and won't charge us and tell us what it costs to maybe do some of that work on it. But,
We'll get the perks fixed and see if everything turns out good.
okay, hope so. And I remember looking at it and I thought it looked like it could be fixed from inside. I could tell there were parts that weren't working on the inside before, but anyway, Ray seems to think, because I'd certainly try this first. It's obvious that those parts are broke, so. Anyway. How's the heat system working, Artie? You can tell us.
you got it, so.
Better?
Yeah, it's better.
It's better.
It's better.
Are you
Not-
having to augment heat? with-
Yes. Daily, I turn my space heater on.
Okay.
See, that's.
And it's-
That's what I was trying to get away
Yes,
from.
that's.
I understand, yeah, and I know it's not necessarily the best thing to do, but when that shuts off, it cools down pretty quick. Now, this is in my corner office, and it's,
Okay.
I'm in a different part of the building, but it cools down, but yet when I run my space heater, of course, then it warms it back up, so the other one's not gonna kick on.
Right.
And so
Okay.
I try not to turn that on, but, you know, after it gets down to 57 or 58, I give in and turn my space heater on.
See, we gotta address that.
Yeah. Is he still using the boiler?
I can't hear you.
Once in a while,
Okay.
it was not on this morning, but
It was
And I talked to Ray about it. He said he definitely thinks, he goes, it's better. There's some issues with, he goes, it never does quite get up to where he thinks it should in the atriums.
right, right.
And that may be part of, just the overall,
Yeah, I know that he and I talked about the lack of heat in the basement,
yeah. that's-
where we do have staff, people down working in the basement, and quite it's cold down in there.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
The other thing that I've noticed is when it's chilly and I go to the thermostat to just tap it up a notch or two, I'm locked out of the system. I can't.
Can't get in.
I can push all those buttons on there and it won't. There's nothing will happen.
Okay.
So
Do you know how to get into the one in your office?
get into it.
Yeah, do you remember we all came in your office and sat down at that, is that the master one? Or we just sat at a, anyway?
Yeah, we all looked at a computer
Yeah.
and he said, "Yeah, I'm going to go in here. We're going to do this and that." Yeah, no, we weren't trained on that. That was just for us to see. Yeah, this is how easy it can be done.
Okay.
But you know, it just in my office and in my big office,
It doesn't come?
you can't control it.
Okay.
Somebody else is controlling it.
I think it's preset and it can be moved, but, okay, I'll look in,
I'm not going to complain like I used to. So that's good news.
at least your feet aren't freezing and you got,
Not all the time.
okay.
Does Augie's the only office have that problem, or do you know?
Well-
Someone said Angie has. the
Yeah, I
same.
think Angie does too, and though I can't, she does. But where in my corner on the northeast side, I get, you know, hardly any sun.
Right.
And so it didn't have a real good chance of warming up, and the windows are thin too, so
Yeah,
it gets chilly in there. But yes, she does had the same problems that we did.
okay. Well, it's better, not great yet.
Right.
I'll
Right.
go with
How about you, Dan?
Not much. Health department meeting last week, and we did talk about the, number of people that have on the list for the vaccine. I think it was, you said 14, she said 1,500 that signed up, and they're supposed to get 300 doses a week, but they haven't been getting what they're supposed to be getting, so. It's kind of a mess. Contact tracing is really getting expensive. I think they've done a state reimbursement for that.
There's a federal reimbursement. They were shipped in about $400,000
Okay.
and
Yeah,
800,000.
okay.
And before they could spend it, no, it was 800,000. They actually shipped them. They're shipping them a quarter at a time, or 200,000 to pay as they go,
Okay.
instead of them having to get reimbursed. That's the fund also that we're in the process of getting reimbursed for, like IMRF and Social Security, both SSI and SS, unemployment and work comp is all gonna come back into our levied funds from that 800,000.
Yeah, I think their bill last month was 25,000. I remember right, contact tracing. Not too
They've
bad.
got like 7 of them, I think, 5 or 7 contract tracers.
They're more than that now.
Well, that's all
She
that
heard-
Janet told us yesterday.
she heard some
or
more.
today.
The fence is up, it was $10,000, it's really nice to get a chance to look at it.
Okay,
Kind of prevents the scene from the old
The
hospital,
trash spills over.
which is a mess.
It is pitiful.
Yeah, but it was $10,000, I think it's probably well worth it. I haven't contacted Andrew, so last time I heard, told you we had 5 dogs, and
Things were good.
people from Tinley Park is taking some, so worked out very well.
That's a long way.
Yeah, it is. But they have a daughter that works at the hospital, so. Other than
We are wide reaching here in this county.
that, yeah, Blood and I take good care of the animals.
anything you need?
I need some sleep, the cats get me up about 6 in the morning. Both of them. Other than that,
Dan's trials and
yeah, I
tribulations.
tell you, I'm such a nice guy.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Russ? Carl?
Mm.
Bud?
Nope.
Amy? Lisa?
I thought, was that your name? I didn't think.
No, her daughter's name is not even
That's
Amy.
good.
Well, we don't know where that came from.
I don't know where.
Over there.
He's losing it, you know? Talk about me losing it.
Lisa?
Yes.
You wanna talk about our wind farm or whatever you
Oh,
wanna
there's
talk
just
about?
so much to talk
Just
about.
speak to George anyway.
Yeah.
Ambulance service, the Northern Edgar County Ambulance.
Yes.
We have a Zoom meeting Wednesday. Derek had a couple of kind of legal questions that he was trying to get cleared up before we met again. And I think there's been some conversations on who might be interested in it. Not a lot of people, it's not a real hot commodity. And I will tell you, the one thing, I don't know that Derek and I are one on this.
Imagine that.
Does it bother me? No. The current service has not had an audit. And you know how I feel about audits. I think they're pretty important. And not that we have any ability to force that to happen, but it had been requested from one of the townships that gives them money, and it never happened. So
You know what, that didn't happen because it's not required.
it's not
And
required.
it's not, because of the way they're set up, according to their attorney. And they said, fine, we'll do an audit as soon as you pay for it. And they declined to pay for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you gotta know the rest
Right,
of
I
the
do
story.
know that, I just, that really kind of sits in my gut. And as far as Wind Farm, Jeff and John and I met this last week, had a very productive meeting. Took a look at Ford counties, which is very thick, their ordinance, which they had used 4 other counties to do. But the big difference is that they have zoning versus us, and so trying to take a look at, like we talked about before, where our responsibility lies, or where we can do something when we are not a zoned county. So I think we found some spots that we wanted to put more clarification in.
And we're having a meeting, what is it, the 4th, 3rd, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And we're gonna zero in, we made it through, thanks to Lisa, the whole ordinance. And we're in agreement on probably, what, 90% of it,
Yeah.
95? We're gonna make some additions that we all agreed made sense. The big one, obviously, is the radius and setback. And one of the things that we're gonna, Lisa hasn't heard, and we haven't heard in a while, since they've been able to go out and work and look at the 3250, which is in the current ordinance, is what they feel and what they don't feel. I mean, at least from the industry side about that, to give us some guidance on where we think we ought to go. It's amazing, they've already moved, you know, they like the 1650, now they're saying 2. So, I mean, some of us need to feel comfortable, and one of the main things is how can they involve more people in what they're trying to do, okay? Which they still, if they get agreement from the folks that they're trying to put it on, can drop it significantly lower, but it takes, quite frankly, money
Yep.
to deal with that and include more people in the final project. So that's what we want to talk to them about. Additionally, we've had, and I don't know whether I can pull it up, another company, hang on, I'll tell you who it is.
Apex.
Yes, Apex, thank you, has requested a meet with us, which we'll probably do at that same meeting, not put the two companies together, but they want to introduce themselves to the committee, and we'll go from there. So, I just want to let you know. And that Apex is working on the northeast side of the county, okay? Which would encompass where they're already in Vermillion County, Indiana. In what?
Pike County.
No, it has nothing to do with Pike County.
Oh, they also have Apex.
Yes, they do
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Okay, all right. What have you got there?
That's saying, she took that article and,
Oh, you did, okay.
Yeah.
So they're,
They all have it.
right. So at any rate, that's kind of synopsis of what we're, yes.
what, we don't have shadow flicker in ours,
We
do
do in the updated one.
Yes.
we? Okay.
Yeah,
If you have a setback of 3,200 feet, do you still have to have shadow flicker, because that would be a long way from the house?
You know,
Would
that'd
you
be a
still
good
have that?
question to ask, is what's the distance, and
Right.
something that we were talking about is, I don't know, the engineering and the math side of things. What's the impact of the height and the distance
Mhm.
and the trajectory?
Right, that's what
I
I
don't
wondered too, because if they're 3,200 feet setback, I don't think you'd have shadow flicker, would you?
I
Piece
know,
of
we'll
don't
have
know.
to ask.
Piece
but
of
these are
pork and-
questions that we,
Yeah,
that's
I
why
don't
we
know.
wanna,
So that's a good question.
Yeah.
we'll continue to find out, but we've had some fairly decent meetings so far.
So will we have, when we have that meeting, so it'll be recorded or not? How's
It
that work?
Normally,
It doesn't
normally,
because it's just the three of
it's
us
just the
plus
committee, yeah,
Chris.
we can't make up
Okay.
any decisions, so,
I didn't know what
I mean, we can. I mean, there's no
I don't think
reason,
it would be a bad thing, because we're not gonna be able to remember, I mean, I'll do my best to take notes, but we won't be able to remember everything we were told.
I'll just remind us that we need to get the recorder from Augie. I
Okay.
don't think we need to tape it or anything, but, I mean,
Yeah,
video.
recorder'd be fine,
audio would be good,
yeah.
I agree.
So let me know when you're gonna meet so we can post it,
Well,
whenever.
he should be letting you know, I don't know.
Oh,
I
okay.
think it's the
Okay.
first week in February. I think it's that Wednesday, is that what we,
I think
what
you're
did you?
right.
It's just a week away.
Okay.
That's,
That's our plan, we don't have it set.
when's our study session, the 8th?
Yes, the 8th.
And we can
8,
update you
11,
then.
8,
I mean,
11,
we're not
20,
trying to keep
2.
anything from you.
What?
You don't know what
8, 11,
time or
22.
anything?
Well, remember, if we have a committee meeting, only 3 can attend.
As a private citizen,
Well,
but.
we had that lawsuit, remember? Where they said that, you know, I mean, you're welcome to.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's,
Does it make any difference that John's not
They
on the
get the money
board,
back.
or is it still a committee of 3, is that still the same?
go ahead,
Because
That's what the-
there's 2 of you.
yeah.
Watchdog.
So I don't know, Carl,
Okay.
no, we
got
can
it.
just see,
Yeah, all right.
I'm not trying, I think it would be great. We could do the committee of the whole, I guess.
I got in trouble that one time because I went to a meeting
Oh, yeah,
and I wasn't on the committee, and the watchdog got on it, and I had to get the money back,
yeah.
which really tore me up.
You said this new company is in the northeast part of the county, and you said that,
They're interested in the Northeast.
and that's the same company that's interested in Vermillion County, Illinois?
I think so. We'll know,
Yeah,
but they are definitely interested in Vermillion County, Indiana.
Indiana.
Yes.
Okay.
Is that right? Okay,
And that's a different company than the one over here.
correct. That's Ornstead. We got Ornstead and Apex.
Okay.
Okay.
What's the one at Douglas? Is that either one of them?
I don't
Someone
believe so.
different?
Yes.
And, with our ordinance, there's nothing in there on the road use and
Yes.
damage.
Yeah, absolutely. It's set up for a road use agreement has to be created.
Yeah,
And he has it.
yeah.
And so some of the things that are in their ordinance are not very spelled out in ours, but what isn't spelled out, Jeff says, what is in the road use agreement.
What's the landowners think of the process of maybe getting a wind farm in that area up there? Have they said anything? I know they got Dick James as a lawyer, but he won't say much.
What do I think of it as a landowner?
Yeah,
You think
I
of
think
money,
it sucks.
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
it'll be mixed all the way down the line. When you get it done, you'll still feel that.
The thing is, if you wanna be objective, which I can be
I
somewhat,
appreciate it.
it is much more logical to have it running across the very north end of Edgar County than it is running on the west. Just on population.
We got a lot of work to do. We gotta listen to, you know. And of course, all of this is gonna culminate into a hearing, well, maybe not a hearing, but a, what do we call
A
it?
public meeting.
Public meeting, where everybody can come in and voice their opinions before we modify further. Yes,
Anybody talk about putting a solar farm in Edgar County anywhere, you know? I know we used to talk about one down south, but I don't know what happened.
well, they're developing 2,200 acres down there for a solar farm. But I do believe that is in the next county. What county is that?
Where are you talking about?
Solar farm.
Kansas.
Oh,
west of
that's
Kansas.
Coles County.
Coles County, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I was over there here last month, and I thought, wow.
That's,
Yes, 2,200 plus acres.
that's right there just west of Kansas.
Right. the
Geez,
substation.
that you can't, people working on that, you can't even see them. I go
We
by
have
there
people
full
staying in
time.
Chrisman that are working on that project.
That's
in
a
trailers
huge,
and so
huge
forth.
deal.
I didn't know whether any of it, I know it's real close to state line, or county line, whether any of it was gonna come over, but at the time, when I was over there a month ago, it was all in Coles County. And then I went down 49, and there's some going back down south that way.
They got all that fenced
There's
off
one,
to west of,
west of Georgetown Ridge Farm in that area too, but I think it's on one.
Anything else? I've got several things. First of all, at the airport, you know, we bid out and they've accepted, finally, the state has accepted aeronautics, the project of redoing the taxiway. We were worried that Open Road, who got the bid, because the state took forever to do it, might not be interested. They're only held like for 60 days to do it, but they have committed and will do the project, okay? The other thing you should know is that the state has also, through aeronautics, has adjudged the main runway, the oldest runway, as needing a lift on it, an asphalt lift. So that will be something that might knock some other stuff down that we need to do first. And the engineers are working on that. But I wanted to make sure, in case somebody says something, that you know that that's something that we're gonna be considering this spring in our engineers.
When you say a lift, just
Yeah,
the
an
whole thing.
asphalt lift over the top of it. There'd be minimal dirt work, in other words, but it would still, and that would include restriping and lettering and also the lighting system on it, okay? But it's a fairly straightforward project. Jail, Coles County is in the process of hiring and advertising and hiring our project coordinator, planner for the jail project, just so you know where that is. We just talked about wind farms. I wanted to bring up something that I didn't have at my fingertips at the time. The electrical bill, gas bill is down almost 30% for the fiscal year ending November 30th. And that doesn't include any benefit that we probably got earlier in the year. Okay? Water is down 68%. And telephone, although they didn't have a lot to do, but we invested in a new system, paid it off recently, and the telephone bill is down about 23%. So we're talking some significant figures, say 12, 9, 21, almost 40 grand, just in
Basically
dollars,
utilities, yeah.
right?
So explain the water part to me, does that have to do with the boiler?
No,
It has to
jail.
do with the jail.
Oh, this is the jail.
See, the inmates were able to get water or flush toilets or whatever, they can sit there and just do this. Now it's all metered and controlled. We've corrected a lot of leaks that we had. Can you think of anything else that would contribute to that, Carl?
That's the main thing.
Okay.
Mainly them messing with the water system.
One of the things that I talked to Lisa about a couple of days ago was the archive system in the, for all the offices. We need to revisit that and involve department heads and elected officials into determining what best, because we do not currently have a policy on, for example, emails,
Right.
okay? Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Okay. So at any rate,
Okay, we need to do something.
right, we did find out that we had archived almost 4 years. So we did not lose, I don't know what you consider significant or not significant. Bellwether has worked on, just since last week, has worked on a plan of action or an outline of what we need to do. And a lot of places archive 4 years of, for example, emails. That might not be appropriate for all of our emails. We may need to keep emails, for example, regarding terminations and so forth for an extended period of time. So we need to deal with those issues. Okay, data is moving slowly, and they're there. The pros from, I'll think of it, Shelbyville are there, who helped us with the state system and Augie's office in the elections, and we're trying to get that handled. But the archive issue is something that, like Bellwether said, a lot of counties haven't dealt with. Maybe it's a good thing that we got hit in the face a little bit, and we were able to recover quite a bit of it, but we need to deal with it, so we have, everybody's on the same wavelength and has a chance to contribute to what our policy is. And that's something that the board will eventually have to deal with, and Lisa and I will meet with department heads and everybody necessary, and if we have to, we'll bring Bellwether over to come up with something. We need to go into exec session for just a few minutes on personnel and the contract. Unless anybody has anything else we need to do. Yes,
Did
sir.
you talk to Andrew about internet system, I forgot.
Yes, they are going with the
Okay, good.
new deal. They're running the lines this week.
And that is over.
Right.
Okay, good.
So
Good.
we will have a better
Okay,
system.
Appreciate
This
it.
is
Okay.
okay.
Yes, there's a lot of irons in the fire, and we reprioritized some things on Friday. I
Okay,
met with Ross and we reprioritized
Okay,
things,
good.
okay? Hopefully it's to everybody's satisfaction.
Did you get your questions answered on the food at the jail,
No,
as far as why they,
I haven't talked to
I mean-
Carla.
but you talked to the sheriff, the sheriff gave you enough information that you feel comfortable?
Well, $3,000 difference in price a month, I can see
Yeah.
why they
Well,
go
that's,
with.
that's bottom line.
Yeah.
That's it, isn't it?
And the reliability, because of holidays and this and
Right,
that, they provide it no matter, there's no off days for them and
Okay.
That's
everything.
good. I think
That's
that's the right
fine,
thing to do.
So,
I didn't realize I didn't think about the holidays because they're not open.
Or Sundays, or,
Right, Sundays.
yeah.
well, that may not
Makes
be a
sense,
good
yeah.
one, but,
Well, $3,000 makes sense too.
yeah, that's
I'm
a
kinda
quick
figuring my money.
$36,000 a year, that's,
Yeah, Pretty good chunk of money.
So that's why they made the change.
That's right.
Smart, sounds good to me.
Understand, yeah.
Yeah.
motion to go in exec, or, was there any, oh, Augie, sorry, Augie.
No, I'm
please.
good, thank you.
You're good?
I'm good.
Yes,
Austin's here.
yeah, I know.
Okay,
He's gonna have to wait a few minutes,
okay.
or we can do it afterwards.
What, are you here
How
for
long will
insurance
this-
meeting?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know exactly. It could take, I'm guessing 30 minutes would be
Okay,
a little
so we
longer
need
than what
It's
it
up
is.
to you guys.
No, we need to do this,
We can do this.
yeah,
Okay.
executive session. I'd make a
I'll step
motion.
out and call them and tell them that
Right.
maybe, what do you
It
think?
shouldn't,
Like-
15 minutes, I think.
Perfect.
It's just personnel, yeah, it's just informing the board about some of the actions that have been taken.
That's
And if you'd,
perfect.
okay, Carl moves for personnel and
Negotiations.
negotiations. Andy seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. No action will be taken. Okay, anything else? We're out of exec session. Is there anything, there's no action to be taken. It was purely informational. Is there anything else to come before the study session this morning? Hearing none, motion to adjourn. Andy moves, Phil seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. We'll have a 5-minute recess and then we're gonna have the insurance committee meet